Hello, welcome back to another project. In this project, we are going to create a real estate website using Next.js and MongoDB. I have created this project previously using MERN technology, but I had a lot of requests of creating this project using Next.js, which is very good for SEO. As you can see, we have a beautiful landing page with a title, with the image, and also we have recent offers, recent prices for rent, and also recent places for sale. Here each card includes the image, title, the address, and the price of the place, and we can click on this card and go to that specific page, which includes an image, title, description, and etc. Also, we have the ability to search here. For example, I can search for the term villa. So as you can see, we get the result for this search term. And also we have the sidebar here for changing the search term. We can change the type and also amenities like parking and furnished. And also we can sort it based on the price and oldest and latest. If you are authenticated, you have the ability to create a new listing. For creating a new listing, you can add a name, description, address, and also you can set the type of the listing like sell, rent, parking spot, furnished. You can also have an offer here, and you have the ability to upload up to 6 images. So each person who is authenticated can create a listing, and also a person who is the owner of the listing can update the listing as well. So some pages like this page, which is in the client side, and it's not important for SEO. So we have created these pages using the client components, but some pages like the home page, which is important for SEO, we have created them using server-side components. It's a complete project with the CRUD operation, and it's very good to help you to understand the CRUD operation using MongoDB. In the next section, we're going to start on the installation of the project. Before we get started with the installation, I want to share a great learning tool that's been helping me with AI and Python programming. Brilliant, the sponsor of this video. Brilliant makes learning fun and interactive with hands-on lessons in math, data analysis, programming, and AI. Instead of memorizing facts, it focuses on helping you solve problems and think critically. Their programming courses are perfect for beginners or anyone looking to strengthen their skills. With their simple drag-and-drop editor, you can start coding in Python from day one. You learn the basics like loops, variables, nestings, and conditionals, while also training your brain to think like a programmer. If you're interested, visit brilliant.org/Sahan or scan the QR code on the screen to get a 30-day free trial. Plus, by using the link in the video description, you'll unlock a 20% discount on Brilliant annual premium subscription. Thanks Brilliant for sponsoring this video. Now let's move on installing Next.js and Tailwind CSS and creating the first template of our project. Alright, welcome back. In this section, we're going to install Next.js and Tailwind CSS, and we're going to create our first template. I've put the final version here. You can see it on state.100jsprojects.com. You can check the website. And also I have put the eraser diagram here for the folder and file structure of the project. I'm going to explain how to create the pages, APIs, components, and etc. based on this diagram. And also I'm going to share this diagram with you. You can find the link of this diagram in the description. All right, let's start with the projects. For the starting, as you can see, we just need to use this utility npx create next app at latest to create our application. So what we want to do here, we search for Next.js and we go to nextjs.org, we click on get started, and here we want to use go to the installation, and here you use this utility. I'm going to copy this. First thing first, I want to create a folder. So inside my project folder, I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it next state, and then I'm going to open it using Visual Studio Code. And then now the default folder is that next state. And here I'm going to open up the terminal here and paste that code that we have copied. And then I'm going to add a dot at the end because I don't want to create a new folder as we have already created the folder. So we're going to press enter. We're going to press Y for yes, and then we just say no for TypeScript, S-Link yes, Tailwind CSS yes. I want to have a sarc directory. I want to use app router and turbo pack. Just say no. For the alias, I just want to say no. I want to use the default. So this is going to install packages like React, React DOM, and Next, and also some dev dependencies for Tailwind CSS because we have answered yes for Tailwind CSS. So we're gonna install Tailwind CSS and its dev dependencies to be able to use Tailwind CSS. So we're gonna wait for the installation. After the installation is completed, according to the documentation, we're gonna have an app directory with the page.tsx or JSX in our case, and the layout to create the layout. This is our layout. So this we can add like header and etc. inside this, and also we're gonna have the home page. Inside the app directory, we're gonna have a page.jsx or home page. If you look at the eraser, we can see now we have, when we use this utility, we have, and inside the folder that we have created, we're gonna have a src folder, a public folder for our public files, for example, the images and etc. that is available for public. Then we have some config and JSON files, for example, package.json that shows the packages that we have. And inside the src folder, we're going to have a folder called app. In order to create the pages, we're going to use this app. Inside this app, for example, we have page.js, which is our home page. Then we're going to use this layout for creating the layout like header. So we're going to put the component header inside this layout. Let's check that we have completed. Okay, the installation is completed. We have some warning that's not important. What we want to do here, we want to use npm run dev to run our application, which is going to be on our localhost 3000. You can just keep the control and click on this, and this is going to be open in your default browser. In my case, is the default browser of mine is Chrome. So this is the page you get. In order to edit this page, we want to go to the src app and edit the page.jsx. Let's bring this one to the right side and our Visual Studio Code to the left side. And then I'm going to go to src app, then page.js. I'm going to delete everything and just replace it with a React functional component. I just want to call this one home. In order to create the React functional component using a snippet, you need to have this extension ES7 React Redux React Native Snippet. And also you can see my other extensions like GitHub Copilot, auto rename tag for renaming the tags. I have just like Tailwind CSS IntelliSense. You need to have to get the suggestion for Tailwind CSS. Right here to format your code when you save the file, and the others are not important here. Okay, so we are inside the page.jsx, pages.js or JSX you can use. Now we have the home. If you want to be sure that Tailwind CSS is working, you can just add a class name. For example, I want to change the color of the text to be, for example, text red 500. If it's red, it means that the Tailwind CSS is working for you. Okay. Now, let's see the error. Okay, just save this one. And we have to add our code to a GitHub repository in order to be able to later deploy our application. So I want to use GitHub. So let's go to github.com and make sure that you sign in. It's totally free. Here you need to be signed in. And then here, click on the plus icon and then click on new repository. Here, let's add a repository name. For example, Next-state. And the description is going to be a real state website using Next.js and Tailwind CSS. Okay. And also I want to keep it public because you can use it. And you can see, you can go to this address like github.com/next-state to have this GitHub repository. So we're going to create this repository. We need to add these 3 links to add it. Before that, I want to add this home page that we have created. You need to just go to our source control. I want to add this page as well and create a message. For example, install Next.js and Tailwind CSS and create the first template. So we can just commit. Okay, now here we need to copy these 3 lines of code and paste it inside the terminal to upload the codes inside the GitHub repository. Here, if you refresh the page now, you can see all the codes is uploaded inside this GitHub repository. You can come here and see it. And also I'm gonna put this link here, the final version. You can come and check it here. So we have now 2 commits. One is automatically created by Next app, and the next one is created by us. Install Next.js and Tailwind CSS and create the first template. So in the next section, we're going to work on the header section of the project here, as you can see on the top. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have installed Next.js and Tailwind CSS, and we have created our first template. In this section, we're going to create the header section of our project. As you can see from the final version, we have a logo here, we have a search bar, and also we have a menu on the right side. I'm not going to explain the styling in this project. My main focus is on the technical and functionality of the projects, like the functions, APIs, and etc. So the Tailwind CSS and something are simple and easy you can learn. I'm gonna just copy and paste them and just explain the technical part of them. So if you look at the eraser here, you can see that in order to create the header, we need to create a file called header.jsx inside the components folder, which is located inside the src folder. Then we're going to add this header.jsx inside a layout.js file in order to be available in all pages. For example, here we have it inside the home page, and then also inside the about page we also have the header. So we don't want to add it in each page individually. We just add it to the layout file and it's going to be added everywhere. So let's create that component here. So let me just remove this code here. Yeah, just before this video, I created this one first time. It's okay, we're gonna create it again. So inside the src folder, we're gonna have a file called components, a folder called components and components. And then we're gonna have header.jsx here. We're gonna use RFC to create a React functional component, and then we're gonna add it to the layout.js just before the children. Okay, so now if you look at our website, you can see we have header here inside the homepage. If you go to the, for example, about, you can see it here as well. So what I want to do is to just paste the code and just explain it to you. Okay, so now we have, let's paste this code. So basically it's just a header component, and inside that we're gonna have a div with three parts. One is for the logo, then we have the form with the input, and also at the end we have the UL components for our menu, which is home, about, and sign in. So we're gonna have an icon for the search. If you look at here, you can see we have this icon. In order to have this icon, we need to install a package called React Icons, React-Icons. Okay, and then for the logo, it's just a two names separated, one with the different color. And also for the link, for going from one page to another, we use a link from next/link. Okay, as you can see, we have this menu, home page, and this one, and also it's responsive. Let me just fix it a little bit. So in the medium size and above, I want to see the menu. Less than that, I want to make it hidden. So we make it like this. Okay. So that's it for the header section. Let's add it to the GitHub. So this is going to be add the header component, and we can commit and push. So in the next section, we're going to start with the authentication part, so we can have the avatar when we sign in. So we're gonna use Clerk for authentication, and we're gonna firstly use Clerk, authenticate the user, and then we wanna add the Clerk information inside the MongoDB database. So see you in the next section. All right, welcome back. In this section, we're going to work on the Clerk authentication. We're going to add the avatar when we sign in. I'm going to show you how to do it. What you need to do is to go to Clerk website. I put the link in the description. Once you're here and sign in, it's totally free. You can just go to dashboard and create a new authentication. So if you look at the eraser here, we can see that for creating the sign in and sign up page, we need to create a folder inside the app directory called sign-in and sign-up. Plus, we need to add 2 extra folders. This is the recommended folders from Clerk. 2 extra folders with 2 brackets, 3 dots sign in and 3 dots sign up. Then we have page.js, which is going to be our sign in and sign up pages. So here inside the Clerk, you just click here and create a new application. I'm just want to call it Next-state. And I want to use email, Google, Facebook. You can add GitHub. Basically, you can add any sort of authentication from different sources. Twitch, TikTok, and Discord, and etc. Just for examples, I had these 3. So here we click on Create Application. Once you do that, as you can see, we can create it with Next, React, Remix, and etc. But we want to use Next.js. We need to install this Clerk/Next.js. I'm going to copy this. We go back to our code and paste it here. Then we need to create a file called .env.local and add our API keys. So we need just to copy this, go back to Visual Studio Code, and here inside, let me show you in the eraser, the position of the .env is in the root, not inside the src. In the root directory, we need to create the .env.local. So here, inside the root directory, we create a new file called .env.local, and we paste the code. And also, I want to put some example for you, so you know what to do. I want to upload this example inside the GitHub repository, so you know how to do it. So the example, I want to just remove my API key. And also inside the .ignore, I just want to ignore .env.local. This file, not the example. Okay. That's it. Let's check the next step. So the next step is to create a file called middleware. Middleware, it must be inside the src directory. So here inside Eraser, you can see inside the src folder, we're going to create a file called middleware.js. So here we create a file called middleware.js, and basically we need to just copy this code and paste it there. And paste it here, which basically is just a Clerk middleware based, and it's gonna check the API routes and etc. for you and protect it. So what we want to do next, after this step, we need to wrap our application with the Clerk provider. So basically we go to layout.js file and add this Clerk provider. So let's do that. We go to layout.js file, which is inside the app, and we want to completely wrap our application by the Clerk provider, which is coming from here, clerk/next. So, and then we're gonna just wrap everything here. So yeah, Clerk provider from clerk/next.js. And finally, that is the running our application. That's not important. Let's go and continue in the Next.js app. We need to create these two files, sign up and sign in pages. So we need to create a folder called sign up and then sign up inside the brackets and then page.js. So I'm going to copy this. So inside the app directory here, I want to create that, as you can see, sign up / another folder called sign up, but inside 2 brackets and 3 dots, and then we have page.js. As you can see now here. And then we want to just grab this code and paste it there. Next, we make the sign in. Let's copy this. Go to app. Copy this and paste it here. And the next step, we have already done this part, middleware.js. We don't need to do anything for that, but we need to update our environmental variables. We need to add these 2 lines of code inside the .env file, which is here, and also in the example in our case. This example is just for you don't need to do it. I'm just doing it for you. Okay, and that's it. That's it. We need to just now update our header.js to have our application. So what we want to do is to go to header.jsx. Inside the components, header.jsx. We need to import these 3 things. We're gonna import sign in, signed in, plus signed out, this one. And also we want to have user button, which is showing the avatar. So user button. That's it. And then here inside the instead of just sign in, so what we want to do here, I'm just want to remove this completely, and I don't remove it. We just say here signed. If the person is signed in, show the avatar user button. We just say user button. Okay. If the person is signed out, we want to see this sign in. That's it. Let's check. So here we have the sign in now. When we click on it, okay, we are getting some errors here. Let me refresh the page first and then I do that. Okay, it's working. I was just need to refresh the page. As you can see, now we have our sign in page. Let's click on here, go to sign up page. As you can see, sign in, sign up. I just want to bring them to the center. So what I do here is to go to sign up and sign in page. I just want to add some flex here. So I want to wrap this sign up and sign in with a div. So I create a div. And I'll bring this one inside this div. Okay, and then here I want to add some class name. I want to use flex item center plus a justify center to bring it exactly in the center, and also with a padding of 3. So let's add this one to the sign in page as well. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Now it's in the center. Signing, sign up. Let's try it. Okay. We go to we choose one of our Gmail account. Let's make this one English. Okay. Continue. Okay, now as you can see, I can see my avatar here, and also when I click on it, I can manage my account. Basically, I can do everything. You can update your profile, you can upload a new image, you can just have everything, like you can add a new email, you can delete your account. And also, if you check Clerk here, you can see a new user is added. You go to users. As you can see, the new users is added, and I can see it here. All right, so that was it for creating and adding the authentication using Clerk. Basically, now we have the Clerk here. We have our database inside Clerk, but we want to add MongoDB to add these users inside MongoDB as well, because we need the users inside the MongoDB, and also we want to add the post inside the MongoDB as well. So let's complete this section by adding these files into the GitHub repository with the title. Let's see. We can just say add authentication using Clerk. Okay, and we can just commit and push. So in the next section, we're going to work on adding a middleware that is going to help us to send information using an API, and we're going to send the information we have from Clerk, so we can use that information to store it inside the MongoDB. So see you in the next section. All right, so in the last section, we have added Clerk as an authentication. In this section, we're going to create its middleware for adding, or middleware, or you call it hook or webhook, to send its information to our server using an API. So if you go to Clerk documentation, and we go to webhooks, sync Clerk data to your application with webhook. So as you can see, what we want to do here, basically we need to actually deploy our application. We cannot do it on localhost. And also we need to add another package called svix to be able to do it. First thing first, we want to add our signing secret. Where we can get the signing secret is to go to here configure in our dashboard. And I think here is in webhooks. Yeah, webhook. And then here we need to add an endpoint to be able to get it. But before we add the endpoint, we need to deploy our application to get our URL. And we can't use localhost. So first thing first, you need to go to Versal, and it's free to, you can just create a new project. And if you have your GitHub repository connected to versal.com, you can just find it here. As you can see, I committed 11 minutes ago, Next.js. I'm gonna import that. What we want to do is to add the environmental variables we have. So we got to .env.local. I'm gonna copy everything and paste it here and press on deploy. When the deployment is completed, we're gonna get a URL. Basically, we need to add that URL here inside this endpoint. So we put the URL, add the webhook at the end, and also we need to install SFix. So let's continue here. So we need to install SFix. So I'm going to copy this, paste it inside our terminal. So once we do that, we can just, based on the events happening, for example, user that created, users that something like that, we get some feedback. And also we need to create a file API route inside the app directory, and also in the eraser I've made it show it to you. So we need to create a folder inside the app called API, and then we have webhooks, then we have route.js, which is going to be /API/webhooks. So let's create this one. So we go to app, we create the folder called API, then we create a folder called webhooks, and then we have route.js. And here we're gonna copy this and paste it here. This is created for TypeScript. I'm gonna remove the TypeScript part. So remove this. Okay, that's it. And let's see, we get this. Okay, now we have our application inside the Versal. Let's click on it. As you can see, the website is running. So we need to just copy this URL. We go back to our dashboard and paste it here, and then /API/webhooks. And the event we want to control is user created, deleted, and updated. And then we press on create. Once you create it, you get a secret key here. So we need to just copy this and put it inside our .env.local file with the name, which we need to have this name, sign in secret. Paste it here. Okay, let's create an example as well. Okay. So that was for this part of our application. So what we want to do, if for example, the event is created, let's show the user's ID or other things. So here inside the route.js, at the end, I don't want to console log anything. So what we want to do here, we just say if the event this EVT dot type is created. Let's console log user created. I don't need to have the ID as well. Okay. This is for created. We can do the same things for delete and update. For example, this one is going to be updated. And this is going to be deleted. So we want to just create the event. For example, if delete happens, I want to send the information to the server and etc. So in order to this one to work, we need to add this sign-in secret to our Versal as well. So we go to Versal, we go to our dashboard, and we go to setting. We update our environmental variable. I want to add this, save that, and also we need to upload these things to GitHub repository as well. Before doing that, let me check everything if everything is this okay or not. I think that's fine. Let's add everything. So this is going to be with this title. I want to use this title. Sync Clerk data to your application with webhooks. So I'm gonna commit and push. So this commit is going to trigger Versal, and Versal is going to, as you can see, it's building our new commit, which is sync the Clerk data to our application. So we need to wait until this is completed, and then we can test and see if we are really sending information or not. So let's see. Usually this one takes around 1 minute. So let's wait and see. So basically, when this one is completed, we can test our application here in the final version, or even inside the local host, we can do it because we have already installed sfix. So our local host is connected as well. Okay. Okay, I think it's ready. Okay, now it's ready. We can test our application. For example, let me sign out and sign in with a new user. So here I'm gonna choose, for example, this user. Okay. And then let's see. Okay. So now if we check our dashboard, we have 2 users. And also if we check our logs inside Versal, we can see that we get this one, user.created, this message, which we send to this API/webhooks. These are just warning when we deploy our application completely, it's going to go away. It's not a problem. So it's working. User created. Let's update our user. For example, let's update the profile. For example, I want to upload a new image. See. I forgot download. Okay, let's choose this one. Okay, it's uploaded. Now let's see. Let's refresh this log. Okay, we got the user.uploaded. So everything is working fine. So in the next section, we're going to add MongoDB and send this data instead of just console login. We want to send the user data and save it inside MongoDB. So see you in the next section. All right, welcome back. In this section, we're going to add the MongoDB to our application and send the data from Clerk to MongoDB and store the user's information. First thing first, we need to go to mongodb.com and let's sign in. So I'm gonna use my account to sign in. Let's create a new application, and based on that we can work and continue. So what we want to do here, we just go here and click and scroll down, click on new project. Here I want to put a name for that. For example, I just say next state and click next, click create project. So once the project is ready, we can click on create a cluster. Here we can just choose the free one. Name is the same. You just don't need to change anything. We just click on create deployment. And here we can create a username and password. I want to just copy the password and then also create the database user. And also once you do that, you can just choose the connection. I want to use driver. You need to install MongoDB and just want to copy this. Go back to Visual Studio Code and let's clear this and paste it here. And also we need to have Mongoose to connect to the MongoDB. So once this installation is completed, we can create few files. So let's check the eraser. As you can see, in order to create the MongoDB, what I do is to create a folder inside src called lib or library, and then we're gonna have 3 files. One is the actions, which is we want to create user.js. We're gonna have the models. We want to create user.model.js, and also we want to have a folder called MongoDB, and inside that we're gonna have a file called mongoose.js. So let's create those. So let's go to src. We create a folder called lib. Then we have MongoDB. Then we have mongoose.js. So here we want to create the connection to our MongoDB database. First thing first, we want to import Mongoose from Mongoose. Then we want to initialize, create a variable called initialize. we set it to be false. And then what we want to do is to export a function called connect. We create this function and we're going to use it later. So we're going to use Mongoose. It has a method called set. And we're going to say strict query. And we set it to be true. After that, we want to say if it's already initialized, you just console log MongoDB already connected, and then we just return we don't want to connect again. Otherwise, we want to try and catch and connect. We want to use await mongoose dot connect. We want to pass our MongoDB URL, which is we need to create later. And then we want to just set the DB name. We just call it, for example, Next.state. And then what we want to do, I just want to add new parcel through this kind of to avoid some error, but I don't think we get these errors anymore, but I just want to add it just in case. So this is for try, and also if this one is successful, we want to initialize set it to true, and also we want to console log MongoDB connected. Otherwise, we want to console log MongoDB connection error, and we want to console log the error. Let's close this function. So the function is ready. We just need this MongoDB URI. I'm just want to copy this, put it in our env file, and also the example. Where is the example here? Let's just put the example here. Let's get this one from MongoDB. We just click on done. We click on connect. We go to driver. We need to copy this. Okay. And paste it here. But just here, we need to put our password. I copied the password. I think it was this one. I paste the password here. And okay, that's it for here. And also I want to add this one to our Versal. So we don't forget it. So we go to Versal setting environmental variable. I want to add a new one here. Save. Okay. What else we need is to go to MongoDB. For the network access, I want to allow from everywhere, because we need to allow we have access from our Versal. So we need to have because this is my IP, my computer IP, but the IP of the server is different. You need to find that IP, or you just can have the access from everywhere. So that's it for this part. So we have created this Mongo, and now we want to create our model. So user.model.js, let's create this one. So we go to lib, we create a new folder called models, and then we have user.model.js. And here we're going to create our model. It's very simple. We just need to import Mongoose first. And then first we create our user schema, which is kind of adding some rules. So here we want to say a few things we want to add. First thing is the Clerk ID, which is a type of string required. And also we want to, this one is unique as well. Then we have email, which is similar, first name, last name, and we want to have profile picture. Okay. And to save the time of creation and delete, we can add timestamp true here. This. So these are two. Okay, what's the error here? So you see, okay, we don't need this. This is for this profile. Okay. I need to close this. Here at the top, I just added unnecessary. Okay, no, it's fine. Okay, after after creating the schema, we're gonna create our user model. We just say const user. We want to say if the model is existed, use it. Otherwise, we're gonna create it using our user schema. And finally, we want to export that model. The next step is to create an action. So the action is going to be, for example, based on the create, delete, and etc. We're going to have some action. So let's create that. We're going to create a folder called action or actions. Then we want to have user.js. We want to import our user model first. Then we want to import that connect that we have created. If you remember, we have created this connect function. So we import connect from MongoDB Mongoose. Then we want to export the first function we want to create or we want to update. So we just say create or update user. First thing first, we want to get some information from Clerk, and then based on those information, we want to add it. So we want to have the ID. We want to have the first underline name. The way why I use it first underline name, you need to find out here. If you go to Clerk, the webhooks. I just want you to know that why I use it. So if you go logs, for example, user updated, as you can see, we have some information coming, for example, first name. It's first underline name. Okay. So first underline name, then we have last name, we have the image underline URL, we have email underline addresses because it's more than one email. And that's it. We get those. And then first, we want to use try and catch. Use try and catch. Inside the try, we want to connect first. And then we want to create the user. We just say const user. We use await. We use the user model. Find one and update. We pass the clerk ID. And also we want to use a method called set. We want to set these information. First name. We want to save it like that. First name. Based on our model, as you can see. First name was camel case here. So first name is going to be first underline name. Last name, we have profile picture. We have email, which is going to be the email. We want to get the first email, and this is going to be email underline address without. Okay, that's it. So what we want to do here is to add, we just say upsert true, which means if this one exists, update it. If doesn't exist, just add it. So upsert true, and then we want to have new true. So we want to return the new one. So let's close this, and then we want to return the user. Otherwise, if you get an error, we want to console log the error. Okay, we close this function. That's it here. But that was it for the create, update and error, update and create. Let's make the delete. Let's just say delete user. We get the ID. We just use try. First we connect. We just say await. We use the find one and delete. We pass the clerk ID. And then we want to catch the error, console log. Okay. So we have created two functions, delete users and create an update user. So based on that, we want to update our webhook to be able to do it. So we go to our webhook, which is here, route.js. And here, as you can see, before we just added like this. Now we want to complete it, make it better. So I just want to get rid of everything. Here we just say if user updated. Now first thing first, I want to just make this one protected. If we don't have event, we don't get an error. So, and then we just say if event.type is created or if it's updated, we want to get first link first. We want to get the first name, last name, image, URL, and email address from event.data. So basically we don't need this one here at the top. Okay, or we just leave it there. It's fine. So delete this console log, and then based on this information, I want to put the parentheses. Protect this one. And then we want to have a try and catch. In the try, we want to say const user await. We want to use that function create or update user. We need to import that from the action. And then we want to send the ID, which is the clerk ID we get here. And then also we want to send these for information. Once we do that, we get the response. We can get, for example, the user, or we get an error. So if we get the user, and also if the type it's event, if the event type, which we are getting here, if the event type, why I said event dot type, this one should be event type. I already got it there, so I don't need to do it. Okay, event type. This one is user update, user created. We wanna also get the user. MongoDB has an ID, so we want to get the MongoDB ID and save it inside Clerk. So based on that, we want to do that. So we just add a try and catch here. So here, basically, we want to use a method inside Clerk. We want to get it from Clerk client. It should come from here. I think it comes from, let me check. It comes from, it's not from here. I think it's just Clerk Next is enough. A Next server. This is not enough. We don't need that. Okay, Clerk. So we get this function, and based on this function, I want to go to users, and then we save that. We just say update user meta data. So we want to add, basically add that ID we get from the user and update it there. So where do we want to update it? We update it in the Clerk with this ID, Clerk ID, and also we want to update our public metadata. We just say public metadata. So this is going to be user MongoDB or Mongo ID. We can just get it from the user dot underline ID. And also, that's it enough. I think that's enough. Okay. And if there is an error, you want to console log that. I think here we didn't close it properly. Okay. After this, we want to catch the error for sending information. So that's enough. And then we just say console log. If there is an error, we just say could not create or update user and this error. So this was for update and create. If it's deleted, we want to do this one. We just want to, we have the ID. We just send the ID and use the delete user function, which is from action. And we delete it. And also we want to have some response here. We just say return a new response with this error. Let's do the same thing for here. Could not update. Okay, and then when we create it, we want to have some response too. I think that's it. We don't need for the creation. So I want to just test this one. I'm not sure, but with the new version of Clerk, I had some problem with this function, Clerk client, but I'm not sure. Let me test, and if it's not working, we're gonna just downgrade the Clerk version. So this is the let's add this one to GitHub. So we're gonna have this one in our Vercel. So this is going to be add MongoDB and save users from Clerk. So let's commit and push. Let's wait until this one is completely added to the Vercel. Let's go to deployment. If we don't get an error here, we can test if it's working, and then we can just ignore that error. Otherwise, I'm gonna downgrade the Clerk version. So let's check it first. All right, so this one is completed. Let's check. So what I want to do is to delete all the users and then sign in again. So I'm gonna delete this plus this, and then I'm gonna go here, sign in again. So I'm gonna sign in with this user. Why this one is always showing me this language? Okay. That's it. This one is added. So now we have it inside the dashboard probably. Let's check. Okay, we have it in dashboard. Let's check the MongoDB. We go to our cluster. Let's check the collection. Okay, we have our users. Okay, we have the email, first name, last name, profile image, and Clerk ID. And this ID must be added to the Clerk. If it's not, I said I wanna, yeah, it's not added here. So it's not added. I don't know, the error here is let's check. As you can see, could not update error. This error comes. Let me check. Yeah. Yes, the error. Yeah, if you change the MongoDB, sorry, the Clerk version, you go to package.json, the Clerk version, until they fix it, it's fine. Now I want to just change this one. Let me find the correct version. I think it's 5.7. I'm not sure. In the time of creation of this video is not working, but maybe when you're testing, the new version works for you. So first test it. If it doesn't work, and then you just downgrade this. When you downgrade it, you can just say npm install here to have this Clerk version, and also you can add this one to Vercel. You just say update Clerk version. And then when we commit and push, so the new version is going to be added inside Versal as well. So we check the building. All right, so that's completed. Let's test it again. So I'm gonna sign out and sign in with another user. For example, this one. Okay. Let's now check. We go to users. We go to here. It's not added here. Let's see the console log. Why are we getting the same error? And then I cannot see the error. It's just annoying. It's not, this one is not that error. Ah, the error is here. Cannot find the properly undefined user update user metadata. Let's see. Maybe I have some typing error. Probably I made some mistakes here. Let me check. Here, this one is the users, not user. Update user metadata. That's fine. Let's add this. So fix small typo. Okay, so let's commit and push. Let's try again. Deployment. All right, this one is completed. Let's completely delete these users and then try again. Okay, let's do it again. Let's refresh the page. What's going on? I see. What's happening? This. Okay, so let's sign in again. So now let's check our dashboard. Hopefully it's working. Oh no. Oh, it's added. Okay, that's nice. So user Mongo, I said even here is Mongo. Okay, that's fine. User Mongo ID, and this is the ID. Let's check our cluster. Let's refresh here. Okay, as you can see, this ID and this ID is the same. What I want to do is use this ID to authenticate the user in the front end. And we have this ID in the back end as well, so we can easily detect the authorized user. Okay, thanks for watching for this part of the video. Sorry for the mistakes I've made in the video. This part was the hardest part because it has a lot of tricks. But from now, it's going to be much easier. So in the next section, we're going to create our listing page, we're gonna create a UI for our listing page to be able to add a new listing. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have completed using our MongoDB database and saved our data inside MongoDB. In this section, we're going to create and complete the create page. So we want to make it like the one in the final version. Here, if you go to / create listing, you can see that we have a form with 2 columns. You can add the name, description, address, some buttons to choosing sale, rent, parking spot, furnish, or you can add an offer, and also you can upload the image on the right side. So if you look at the eraser, you can see that in order to create this page, we need to inside the app directory, we need to create another folder called create listing. Then we have page.js or page.jsx to create this page / create listing. So let's create this. Here we go to app, create dash listing. Then we have page.jsx. I have just completed the UI of this page. I'm just want to paste it here and explain it in order to save time. All right, so let me paste the code. It's very simple. We just have a main tag and we have a h1 saying create a listing. Then we have a form. Then we want to divide the page into 2 places. One here and one on the right side. The first input is for adding the name of the listing. Then we have a text area for description. We have an input for address. Then we have some checkbox input for sale, rent, parking spot, furnish, and offer. And also we have an input with the type of number for beds, baths, and then we have for the regular price and the discounted price. Finally, on the right side, we have the image with the input with the type of file. And we have a button for uploading the image. And finally, we have a button for create the listing. Let's check what we have here. Let's go to / create listing. As you can see, now we have this UI. I want to add this one to GitHub so you can, if you don't want to spend time for just writing this code, which is just the HTML and CSS, you can just grab that code. So here, this is going to be the styling. So I can just say complete div create listing page UI. And commit and push. So if you want to get this code, you can just go to the commits of the GitHub repository and just click on this UI and grab this code. And then you can continue for the next section, which is adding and complete the upload functionality. All right, now that we have the UI, let's complete the upload functionality. What we want to do is to use Firebase. So we search Firebase on Google. We go to firebase.google.com. Here we can just choose our Gmail account and go to console. You can create a new project. I just want to put the name Next-Estate. And click continue. You can just create the project. All right, the project's ready. We click on continue. Here we click on the web, the name for our project, Next-State. We register the app. Here we need to install Firebase, so I'm going to copy this code and paste it here. And also we need to have this file. If you look at the razor, we need to put the Firebase file inside the src folder here. So we go to src. We create firebase.js and we paste it here. So what we're gonna do here is to export these cons. And also we want to hide this code. So I'm gonna just cut this. And instead, I just want to say process.env next public Firebase API key. So we put it here, put the code first, and then I just wanna get this, put it here. And also I wanna put it inside our example file. Okay. So, and also come back here, we go to console, we wanna create the Firebase storage. Yeah. As you can see, they said just to upgrade your project, you need to just add your bank card. They're not gonna charge you. It has a free tiers, but you just need to add the connect your card. I've already connected before. You can just put a limit, and they're not gonna charge you, but just put the $10. Yeah. Press done. You press on get started. Continue. Oh. Yeah, we can put it on the test mode, or I can complete it as well. Let's see. Let's continue. All right. The storage is completed. We can go to the rules and change the rules. I can just grab the rule code from my previous project. For example, this one. What is this rule? We want to limit the size of the project to the 2 megabyte, which is 2 multiplied 125 and 125. And also, we just want to accept the type of image. I just want to grab this rule from my previous project and put it in the new one, which is the next state. Okay, let me just choose everything and paste that. Okay. I don't know why it copied stuff like this. Let me clean this. Okay. So these are the rules. So now we just need to come back to our code. In the create listing, we go to the input with the type of file here and add our Firebase once we click on it. So here I want to put an unchanged event listener. When we change it, we want to first thing first, I want to make a piece of state to grab the files. So here at the top, we create a constant. We just say, for example, files, set files. We can just use a state from React, and the initial value would be empty array. We don't need to do import React here. And also this one should be a client-side component. Also, we need another piece of state for all the form. We call it form data. And it's going to be an empty bracket, but empty curly braces, and then we just say image URLs, and it's going to be an empty array. Okay. So these are the things we need, and also we go back to our that file, and now here we just say we get the E and then set the files to E.files. Let me fix this. Okay. So now we have this input. Once we press on this button, we want to send this file. So the button, so we want to disable it if we are uploading. So we don't want to upload twice. So we need to create another piece of state for uploading. So uploading at the beginning is going to be false. Another piece of state for an error, we just say upload or image upload error. We set it to be, we can set it to be null or false. Let's go back to the file here and this button. So and also once we click on it, we want to call a function called handle image submit. And also here, we just want to say if it's uploading, say uploading, otherwise upload. So now we need to create this function, handle upload image. So handle image of submit. Alright, so now here at the top, I want to create that function. I just want to paste the code and explain it. So this function, handle image submit. First thing first, we want to check if the files are more than 0 and the length of the files plus the images image URLs is less than 7, we want to upload. Otherwise, we want to say no. For example, we have less than 0 or we have more than 6, which is 7, right? So once this condition is satisfied, we want to set the uploading to true and also the error to false. Then we want to upload each image one by one. So we're gonna create a promise, and also we want to start from 0 to the length of the files, and we push it. We want to create this function, a store image. So let's add that function. So let's put this function as well. I'll put it here. So here we can see that we get the file, and also we have gonna have a resolve or reject. We want to upload it or we want to reject it. So we're gonna have a storage. We need to import get storage from Firebase. Let's go up and import all of them. First thing first, we want to import app from our Firebase file here that we have created. Then we want to import get storage, ref, upload by resumable, get download, all from Firebase /storage. Okay. And here, so first we create the storage and then the file name, which is based on the name of the file and also the current time. So which make this file name unique. Then we make a reference based on this storage and the file name. And also we want to upload using the upload task. So here we just say based on the bytes transferred and total bytes, we want to get the progress, how many percentage is uploading. We just console log it here. If an error happened, we want to send the error. Otherwise, we want to get the URL and send it back using resolve. So now that we saved that file using that storage, store image and got back the URL, we're gonna save the URL and put it in our set form data. We keep the previous form data and add the new one here. And we just set the image upload error or uploading to false. If there is an error happen, we want to show the error. And also if everything didn't work, we want to send an error as well. So now we want to show the image that is uploaded under here that we have created. So here after the create listing button, or just before that, I want to just paste this code. What we want to do here, if an error happened, we want to show the error here. Otherwise, we want to see all the images. We want to map through the images that uploaded and show it here. And we want to add a button to delete the image that is uploaded. We want to create this function, handle remove image. Let's add this function here at the top. So we paste it here. This one is just gonna filter out the image that we wanna delete. So let's see what we get here in our application. Let's refresh the page. Here we cannot import it. Let's see if the address is correct for importing app. So here, so this is going to be inside the SRC folder. So we'll go out one more time. Here, Firebase. Okay. Now we have, let's choose some image. Here I have some images. For example, I choose these two, press open, and here we click on upload. As you can see, it's uploading. Now we get the image one by one, and also when we click on delete, we can delete that. Let's add one more image. Okay, as you can see, it's working. So that was it for our upload functionality. Let's add this one to the GitHub. So this is going to be complete upload. Upload listing images functional. Okay, we can commit and push. So in the next section, we're gonna complete this page. We're gonna grab all this information like name, description, everything here, and with the image that we have inside the form data, we're gonna once we click on this one, we want to submit it to our database, which in our case is MongoDB. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have completed the image upload functionality. In this section, we're going to complete adding the unchanged event listeners to all these inputs to be able to grab all the information and be able to submit it. So what we need to do actually before continuing this part is to create the model for listing. We need another listing model, another model for listing to be able to add some rules for MongoDB. So inside the models, we're going to create this listing.model.js. So let's close everything. src lib models. So listing.model.js. So let me just paste the code here. As you can see, we just import Mongoose from Mongoose. We're gonna create a schema for the listing, which is some rules. For example, for name, the type is a string and it's required. We have for description, address. We have the price, the type is number. Discounted price. For the bathroom, also number. For the furnish and parking, it's a boolean, so it can be true or false. And for the type, we have the type can be rent or sell. We have offer, which is also boolean. And then for the image URL, we have the type of array because it can be more than one image. And also we want to add the user information so we know who actually created the listing. And finally, we're gonna create a model based on the schema or use the existing one. And then we're gonna export as a default. All right, let's go back to our create listing page. We need to add we need to import some hooks here. We need to import use user from Clerk/Next.js because we want to know who is authenticated and creating the page. And we need the use router from next navigation. So once the listing is created, we want to redirect the user to that particular listing page. Okay. So here we're gonna get some information like is signed in. We want to be sure that the person is signed in. And also we want to get the user data. Plus we want to know if the page is already loaded. So we just say loaded. That is, the authentication is already loaded. And then we're going to use that use user. And also we want to add the other information we need here, which is for name, description, and etc. So let me just paste it here. So we're going to have name, description, everything is going to be an empty string at the beginning. Type is going to be rent by default. We're going to have 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. The price is going to be just 50. Discount, we don't have any discount offer. False. Parking and furnish are false as well. We also need 2 more piece of states here. One is going to be for the error and also one for loading. And also we want to use a router, initialize use router that we have imported here. So let's add the unchanged event listener to our inputs first. The first input we have here is this text input. So I'm going to add an unchanged event listener, which is going to call a function called handle change, which we need to create. So let's create this one at the top. Just for now, I just want to create it. And also we need to have the value, which is going to be form data.name. Then we have the text area, which is going to be like this. Then we have the address. It's similar. Okay. Then we have, here's a little bit different. For example, for sale, we just want to add an unchanged event listener. And instead of value, we just say checked if the form data type is sale. For the rent is going to be similar, but this form, the type is going to be rent. Then we have the parking spot. For the parking, unchanged. And also we want to check it if the form data of that parking is true. Then we have the furnished. Okay. After that, we have the offer. Okay. Then let's go to the bedroom. So bedroom is going to be unchanged. Then we have the value, which is the form data.bedroom. For the bathroom, it's going to be similar. Then we have the regular price. Our regular price is min and max is, I made a mistake here. The min is going to be 50 and then the max is going to be like 1 million, 10 million, whatever. And then we're gonna have the unchanged. Yeah, handle change. Also, we want to have the value. Finally, we have the discounted price. And then the min and max. Here, the min, I just put a 0. I think it's fine. But we want to have this discount price if we have an offer. So we need to create a condition here. We just say if the form that offer is true, then we're gonna have this div. Okay. We have completed the image before. Now, after the image is done, we want to go to this button for creating the listing. So here, I want to add some. We're gonna disable it if we are loading or uploading. And here we want to create. We just say loading. We just say creating. Otherwise, we just say create listing. And also at the end, after this button, we want to show the error. If an error happens, we want to say with the red color, we just say error. And also in the form, we want to have a submit on submit. Yeah. So on submit, we're gonna call a function called handle submit. We need to create the function as well here. Okay. Let's console log the form data and test everything first. Okay. Let's go to our application. Let's open the console. Okay. So for the name, I cannot type anything in the name or description or address. On we haven't completed this two things, handle and change and handle change. Okay, let me paste the code here. So handle change is basically is going to get the E. If it's sale or rent, we wanna set the type to the e.target.id. If the ID is parking, furnish, or offer, we want to set it to the e.target.check, which can be true or false. But if the type is number, text, or text area, we're gonna just get the value. All right. So let's test this one. Yeah. So name, for example, test. Okay, we get it. Description, we get it. Address is fine. Sale or rent, yeah, okay, it's working. Parking lot. Parking, yeah, true now. If I do again, it should be false. Yeah. Furnished and offer. offer true, furnish true, yeah. Bedroom 5. Okay, it's working. Price 50. Offer. When we have offer, we have this form. That's fine. So it's working. Okay, now that everything is ready in our form data, we wanna actually submit this form. So let's complete this handle submit. Okay, let me paste the code. So handle submit basically, first thing first, we want to prevent the default behavior of the page, which is refreshing the page. So we just say e.prevent default. Then we want to try and catch. We just say if we have less than one image, which means we don't have any image, we're going to set an error. You must upload at least one image. And also, if the regular price is less than the discounted price, we want to say discount price must be lower than the regular price. So this is going to be some errors here. Otherwise, we want to set the loading to true and set the error to false. And then we want to submit the form to this URL, which we need to create this API /API/listing/create and send this form data as long along with our public metadata, the user Mongo ID. Remember we had some Mongo ID, but actually we had a typo before. It wasn't Mongo ID, it was Mago ID. If you remember, I made a mistake here. So this is user Mongo ID. So in my case, I just want to put it like this. Let me fix. I don't touch that one, just fix this one. Okay, so once we send it and we get it back. If it's success, we wanna it's not successful, we want to set the error. Otherwise, we want to send the user to this URL listing / the ID of the listing. Okay, now let's create this API route. So based on the eraser, you can see that in order to create an API route, inside the app folder, we want to create a folder called API. Then we have the listing, then create, then route.js, which is going to be /API /listing /create. So let's create this one. API listing /create /route.js. Okay, let me paste the code here. As you can see, we just imported the model that we have created, that listing model. We also imported the connect from mongoose.js. And also we have the current user, but this one is in the server side. We want to get the user data from the server side. We're going to initialize it and get the user. First, we connected the MongoDB. Then we want to get the data from this request. If you remember here, we send the data using the body. So we can get it here using this data. And then we just say, if the user that MongoDB.metadata.mongodb is not equal to data.mongo ID, which this one actually should be. Oh, what did I do? Okay, here, this is a Mongo ID because I saved it wrongly before. So if this is not equal to that one, it means the person is not authorized. So it's not the person who is creating it. So we send the error. Otherwise, we want to create a new post, or we can call this one new listing. So new listing. And then we're gonna save it here, which is we have the user data, we have everything else. And we're gonna save it. Otherwise, we want to send an error. Okay. So I think we are ready to test our application. It's few things we need to add here. In the create listing, if the person is not authenticated, I don't want to show this page actually. So here we want to say if is not loaded, we want to say loading. If it's not signed in, you want to say you are not authorized to view this page. Okay, so let's go to our application. As you can see, when you are uploading, it says loading. So we just say new listing. For the description, I want to just put the same thing, address, same, parking, furnished, 2-bedroom, 4-bathroom. I just upload one image. Okay, now we click on create listing. If it's successful, we're gonna be redirected. Otherwise, as you can see, we are getting an error here. Error creating post. Let's see what is the error here. Let's check our. Okay, we are getting some error here. Yeah, the error, main error is here, this one. The user ref is required. So we are not giving user ref to the backend here inside our route. So user, okay, yeah, this one is Mogo ID. Okay, that's fine. That's my mistake. I made it from the beginning of the project, so I need to fix it over and over. Okay, let's try again. Let's create it again. I think we need to refresh the page. Let's say new listing. Getting the same error. Yeah, all right. Here it said new post is not defined. Here I think I didn't change that new post. This one should be new listing. Okay. Let's try again. Okay, that was successful. So let's check our MongoDB. We refresh the page here. Okay, we can see now we have listings here, and our listing is added. Okay, it seems like it should be this one. Yeah, we have uploaded the image. We have the furnish, new listing. Yeah, all of them is added. Okay. Let's delete everything and try again to be sure we are just submitting one time. I don't know why it is 3. Okay. Let's try again. New test. I don't change these other things. I just put an image. Okay, click on create listing. Okay, let's go here, refresh. All right, so it's created. As you can see, everything is working fine. All right, that was it for completing our listing page. Let's add this one to the GitHub. So this is going to be complete create listing page. So in the next section, we're going to complete our update listing page. It's going to be very similar, the same code, but just a little bit of modification. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have completed the create a listing page. In this section, we're going to create the update listing. If you look at the eraser, in order to create to update page, we just need to do some API. We need to create an API to update the post, and also we need to get the post and show it as a default. For example, here, if you want to update a post, we want to, based on the ID of the post or listing, we want to fill up the forms and then let the user update it. So what we want to do, first thing first, we want to actually create the page. So for creating the page, we need to just create a folder called update listing and also another folder for the ID of the listing. And then we have page.jsx, which is going to be update -listing / the ID. So let's create this one inside the GitHub. Sorry, inside the Visual Studio Code. So we have we need to create a page, a folder called update -listing. Then we have a folder with a bracket ID. Then we have page.jsx. Let me grab the code real quick so we can explain it. It's very similar to the create listing, just a few modifications because we just need to get the information of that listing and fill out the form. All right, so let me just paste the code and then explain it to you. So the only difference here is to, based on the path of this update listing, because we want to get the ID. So how do we get the ID? Is to use the path name, using use path name from next / navigation. And we get the ID by just splitting the end of this path and we get the ID. So we get the listing ID, and then what we want to do here, we use effect and fetch the data from this API route, which is API / listing and get. We need to create this one. We send this listing ID and we get the information back here. And then we can fill out the form data based on that getting. Okay. Why is it 0? Because we want to make that API in a way that we can get one listing or few listing. So we just say if it's an array, you just get the first one. And that's it. We just get the information, fill out the form data. Now, when we want to submit this form at the end, let me check. Yeah, here. When we want to submit it, The only difference is the API route is different. So API route, instead of listing create, is listing update. So we need to create that one as well. And also we send the information from the form data. We send the user. I need to change this one. So because this is Mongo ID. And we send the listing ID as well. And then we're gonna update that. So I think that's it. We just need to create these API routes now. So let's first create this, the first API route. And the API route is going to be /API/listing/get. So let me copy this so I can easily create it. So if you go look at the eraser, we have API listing. Now we want to get this, create this get here. So we go to API listing. Now we create get /route.js. Okay, let me paste the code here. It's very simple. We want to get this listings based on we want to know how many we want to get. First thing, we want to limit it. And also we want to do it ascending or descending, because we are creating this one. So we can use the same API route for the search page as well. So we are making this one like general. So, and then we want to just say offer or finished. We want to convert this one to true or false, because this is a string at the beginning when we receive it. We want to convert this one to false or true. And finally, we want to use the listing, and based on the user ID, we can get it. Listing ID we can get, or based on the search term, which is going to be searching inside the name or description. And also based on the offer, furnished, parking, and type, we can search as well. And finally, we can sort it or skip for pagination. You can use this one, and we're gonna return that listing. So this is the API route for getting the listing. We need to create another one for updating. So this one. So let's create another folder called update/route.js. All right, let's paste it here. So now, first thing first, we need to connect to our database, and then first we want to know if the person is authorized or the owner of this listing. So if not authorized, we're gonna say unauthorized, or if it's not the owner, this one should be Mago. We wanna say unauthorized. Otherwise, we wanna update it based on the listing ID, and we're gonna update anything that is different. We use the set method, and we can save it and return that. This one can be post or listing. I just forgot to change this one. You can change it here. CRUD listing. Okay. I think that's fine now. We get it. So that's a API. So I think we are ready to test this. We should know the listing ID, and then we can catch the data. So let's go to our database. Let's refresh the page. I think, yeah, we need to sign in again. Okay, let me sign in. I want to just find a listing that I have created, and then based on that, I want to fetch the information. So this ID, I'm going to copy this ID. We go here, we go to update listing / that ID. So as you can see, now the information is pre-filled. So now we have this data here. Let's update this one. For example, I just here say updated for the name, and we click on update listing. Okay, let's check our database. As you can see, the name is now has updated here at the end. Update. Okay, so it's working. So let's add this one to the GitHub. So this is going to be complete update listing page. You can commit and push. So in the next section, we're going to create this page, this one, the listing page. We want to get the information. We already created the API. We just need to get the information and fill out this page. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have completed the update listing page. In this section, we're going to complete the listing, the page related to that particular listing. For example, this one that is created now. So what we want to do is to create this page. We have the app listing, then we have the ID page, which is going to be listing / ID. So we need to create this kind of format to create that page, and then based on this ID, we're gonna fetch the information similar to the previous video about updating, and once the information came, we can just show the page. So here inside the app, I'm gonna create listing / ID, and at the end we just say page.jsx. Let me just paste the code here and I'll explain it to you. So what we want to do here, we get the information. This is server-side component. It's different from the previous video. Previous video was the client side. So in the client side, we get the ID using use path name, this hook. But in the server side, you cannot use any hooks because you get an error. So in order to fix that, we use a asynchronous function here, and we use the params, and we get the ID using that params.id. Why is it ID? Because of this bracket ID. And also you need to add this process.env.url because this is a server side and the URL is different from the client side. So we need to add this one to our what is it here? Yeah, .env. Just at the end, we add this, which is going to be localhost 3000 in our case. Not it's just, you just say URL. And also I put it inside the example for you. And we just fetch the same API that we have created in the last session. So we don't need to create the new API. We just search between the listings, and based on this ID, we're gonna find it. And we're just gonna just create a variable here and fill it here with this data. And if there is an error, we just wanna put the title failed to load listing or if there's no listing, or we get this error, we're gonna say listing not found. Otherwise, we want to show the listing. So what we want to show is just the image of the listing. We have the title. We have the name. If it's offer, we want to show a logo for that. Then we want to show the address. We want to show the type here. And then the offer, we just say how much money offer. So regular price minus discounted price. We just say here, show the description and the number of beds, bath, parking, or if furnished or not. So let's go to see if we are getting this information. Let's let's refresh the page. As you can see, we get the image, we get the name, price, is it for rent, and also this is the address, description, we get the number of bed, bath, parking, and it's unfurnished. Okay. And yeah, that was very simple. And yeah, that's it for this part. Let's add this one to the GitHub. I just made this page so simple, but you can add more things, like if there are some APIs you can use to get this address and show some map here. But I just want to keep the project simple, but you can just, I did it before in one of my projects. You can just check that out. But I don't think it's necessary for this. The purpose of this project is to just learn the Next.js, the new version of Next.js, which is Next.js 50. Okay, so here, let's add this one to the GitHub. So this is going to be complete the listing page. So in the next section, we're going to complete our homepage. As you can see from the final version, we want to make it like the final version like this. We already made the API for getting this kind of information, like recent offer, places for rent or sale. So it's very simple. We just need to add this kind of things. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have completed the listing page. In this section, we're going to work on the home page here. So we have already created this page. This page is actually this one. Inside the app, we have page.js, which is our home page. So let's go there, app. Let's close all of these. We go to page.js. I'm going to paste code here and I explain it to you. So it's just the same because it is the server side. We have we want to get different information. We want to get rent listing. We want to get the sale listing and also the offer listings. Each of them, we just use the same API route, which is API/listing/get. And yeah, it's very, very straightforward. And we already have this API route. We don't need to worry about that. The only things we need to do is to create this listing item component. So we need to create a component here and showing the each listing. So here inside the components, I'm going to create that listing item.jsx. And what we want to do is to, let me just get the, let me paste it here. As you can see, we just show the image at the top. When we click on it, we go to the listing page. And also we want to show the name, address, description, the offers, and also the number of bedrooms and bathrooms. So I think we can see that page now. As you can see, now we have one listing just for rent. But if you have more, you're gonna have listing for, let me just create another one. So second listing item. So I'm gonna copy this. Let's make this one offer as well. This is a regular price. This is a discounted price. Let's upload an image. So the previous one was for rent. Let's make this one for sale. And we can just click on create listing. Okay, as you can see, it's for sale and etc. So we go to homepage. Inside the homepage, as you can see, it's an offer. It comes here, and also it's here in the sales section as well. So basically, the code is just fetching 3 times. We're gonna fetch. Where was it here? We want to fetch sale, rent, and offer, and show it here at the bottom. So everything is just a copy and paste, and loop through it, and using this listing item, we're gonna show that. And let's create the about page as well. So we're gonna wrap up everything. So for the about page, we can just create a folder called here in the app directory. We're gonna create a folder called about and then page.js. So let's create that. So the folder is going to be about and also page.jsx. So let me paste the code. It's just a text, 3 paragraph of text. There's nothing difficult about this page. So let's add everything to the GitHub. So this is going to be complete the home and about pages. Commit and push. So in the next section, we're gonna complete the project and complete it by just creating this search functionality. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have completed the home and the about pages. In this section, we're going to complete the search page. So the search page is going to be, first thing first, we want to complete the header section. So inside the header, we want to get the information inside this input. And once we press enter or we click here, we want to send the information, redirect the user to the search page. And search page, we need to create it here like this. We create a folder called search, and then we have page.js. So let's first complete the header section. So we go to header component. As we are clicking here, we want to create this one as a client side. And then here we need to import 2 things. We want to add the use effect, use the state from React, and also use search params to get the information from the parameters of the URL. And also we want to redirect the user using use router. And here we're gonna initialize that. First we get the search params using use search params. We initialize the router. And also we want to create a piece of state called search term to track the changes inside the input. Now we want to create a use effect React hook. So this is going to get the URL params from the URL using this search param. And we want to get the search term from the URL, which is going to be search term. And if it exists, we want to set this search term to this URL. Now let's add an event listener to this input. We want to add a value, which is going to be search term, and also unchanged event listener, which is going to track the changes and add it to our piece of state called search term. And also we want to add the onSubmit event listener to here. Okay, which is going to call a function called handle submit. So let's add that function here. So here, this handle submit first prevent the refreshing the page, and also we want to get the URL params from the search params. We set this time, instead of getting, we are setting this search term, and based on that we want to push the user to the /search/search query. Let's try this one. So here I'm going to search, for example, hello. When we press enter, we're going to be redirected to this page, /search search term equals hello. But we need to create this page because the page is not created yet. So let's go to here and create this page. Just say search /page.jsx. Okay, let me paste the code here. So basically, we want to do the same things here as well. Using router and search params, we want to use the use effect and get everything from the URL, which includes for example, the parameter search term or the parameter related to type, parking, furnish, and etc. And if any of them exist, we want to set the sidebar data, which is a piece of state we create here to track because we want to search based on this one. Search term, type, parking, furnish, offer, sort, and order. So we want to get the information from the URL and set that sidebar once the page is loaded. Okay. And also we have other piece of states like loading. And also we want to, when we come, we want to search and fill out this listing. And also we want to, when we click on show more button, we want to active this show more. So let's see. Then we have the function to fetch the listing. We just use the same URL that we have created for the API, /API/listing and get. We don't need the URL here, as this is a client-side component. Because we have kind of interactivity with the page, we cannot use server-side. And we just want to send the information like search term, type, parking, furnish, offer, and etc. Based on that, we're going to get back the information, which is here. If the information is more than 8, for example 9, we want to set the show more to true. Otherwise, we want to set it to false. In other words, if you have more than 9, we can have a button to click to fetch more data. And also here we have the handle change to track the changes. For example, here, let's refresh the page here. Here's the changes we want to change. It's similar to the create listing page. Here we have unchanged event listener, and we can click on that. As you can see, we got the search term from the URL and put it here. Now, if you search, we're gonna send more information. As you can see, now we have search term hello, type sale, parking true, furnish true, offer true, sort created at, and order is descending. So you can change of them and then search again. For example, rent. As you can see, let me remove this thing. I want to see if we can get any listing here. Okay. For example, this one, if you search the word new, we can get this. So this code is just going to change this form data we have in the sidebar. And finally, if we click and submit again, we're going to get all this information and put it in the URL. And once the URL is different, the page is going to fetch the new data and get the new listing. And also, if you click on show more click button, we want to send and get the information here. Okay, so as you can see, here we have the sidebar on the left with the form. We have the search term, type, and etc. And on the right side, we just show the listing by using our listing item that we have created in the previous section. And also we have a button showing show more here. So as you can see, it's working fine here. So let's add this one to the GitHub. So this is going to be complete the search page. Okay, that's it. We can commit and push. So now if we check the commits, we see that the last one is being updated, but the only things we need to do is to we add another environmental variable, because if you remember, we have created this URL here. Where was it? This URL. We need to add this one, but instead of that localhost 3000, we need to add the URL of our website, which in my case is this one. Okay. I just want to save this and we can deploy it again with that URL. And this is going to work just fine. All right, that was it for the project. I hope you enjoyed and learned many things. So see you in the next project.